fighting a long time, and we have all lost so very much, so many loved ones gone. But you are not alone. There are pockets of resistance all around the planet. We are at the brink. Above all, stay alive. You have no idea how important you are. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance. We gotta find this guy.
Papa MGTOW here.
Special guest, I guess you could call it, Dr. Sin. Here we are. I'm about to do this. Let's do this, man.
Welcome, Dr. Sin. Today, basically, we want to just tell everybody our story, you know, what happened to us and our MGTOW story and how we went our own way.
And that's pretty much the gist of it right there. Other than paying attention to MGTOW videos on YouTube, have pretty much shown me that I'm not the only one this has happened to, and it's all over the place. Well, Papa MGTOW, you want to start with yours, and we'll get it going?
Yeah, so basically, I got with a crazy woman, had a daughter with a crazy woman, and she ended up cheating on me, and she was addicted to drugs, left my my little girl in the house by herself to go get drugs. I come home from work, find her there, so I get custody of my daughter for a couple of years, and then I lose my job, and end up having to ask my family and my baby mama for help. And at that time, that's when they take me to court and have my little girl taken away from me. And 10 years down the road, I'm still trying to contact my daughter every day. You know, I call the baby mama, I put in the work, I deal with the torture, but it doesn't seem like I'm getting any closer.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. My story, I don't know. I got with a woman that I loved very deeply and very much.
Yeah.
I wanted to marry this woman. I did everything in the world I could possibly think of for this woman. And I lost my children in the process. And I'm lucky that I get to see my oldest son when I can, but my two youngest ones, I don't even know if they're alive or dead.
Yeah.
I don't know which state they're in. I don't know the status of them. I have no way to find out because of the states and all that stuff. If you're in a different state and your kids are in a different state, unless you have a lot of money, you can't really do much.
No, I mean, do you know the mother's full name? Because I can do a background check on the mother for about $30 and find out where she's living, what her phone number is, what her email address is.
I never even thought of any of that. Yeah, I think I know her name. I don't want to say it right here online.
True.
Yeah, I'll give you that information. You can find out for me. Maybe you might know something.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a segment about tracking down your baby mama and your kids.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, because I have no way of knowing. And anybody that would know, they're absolute trash to begin with, and not very trustworthy people to begin with. It's pretty bad. I lost my kids in 2010. It's now 2017. Like I said, last time I seen him was at least 2011. I saw him for the last time, and I haven't heard from him since, or heard from her since, and it's one of those things. I don't know what to do, man. It's actually driven me kind of crazy a little bit, and a little bit insane, I think, and it's caused me a lot of grief, strife.
Yeah, that shit's rough. It's hard to do.
Problems that I don't know. I mean, maybe many of you out there, maybe you know what I'm going through with this, and I would just love to hear from my kids and know that they're alive, and just know that they're okay. And I don't even know that. Like, I have no way of finding that out. I have no way of talking to anyone that can help me, or even know where to begin. And like I said, anybody that would know out there, they're not interested in helping me.
Yeah.
They're not interested in helping me. And that's a real fucked up story, man.
That is fucked up.
It's a fucked up story, and dude, it's driven me crazy. I don't know what to do. Like, it's affected a lot of things.
Well, I mean, we do have a lot of options, even though we do feel helpless. What advice could we give other fathers that are probably or are already going through the same shit we have? You know what I'm saying? Are there any warning signs they can look for?
Yeah. There is some warning signs out there, actually. And I know that if you listen to a lot of other channels, they'll give you, like other MGTOW channels will give you warning signs and what to watch out for. I can't think of any names of any other channels out there.
Turd-flinging monkeys, Sandman,
yeah.
Barbarossa.
Yeah, those guys out there, they've been doing this a lot longer than we have, and they seem to have a pretty good idea on all this stuff. And me personally, my own warning signs, you know, there was a lot of warning signs.
Money disappearing.
Money disappearing was the biggest thing, that I had ever seen, and the craziest thing that I had ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you give money to the old lady, you think she's going to take care of the bills with it, not go spend it on
whatever the hell it went. Yeah, like, it got to the point with money, like, that was like the main thing. Honest to God, that was the main crazy bullshit, was about money. Like, in the beginning with our relationship, I said, and this is terrible to say, but we probably had...
The truth hurts.
We probably had 6 months in our relationship that were good. And after that, she got pregnant. Once she got pregnant, you know, she completely changed into another person, needed money all the time, and money for this, and would sit there and complain that I'm not working enough and not doing enough. And,
always bitching about something.
But that's all it was when she was pregnant. Complaining all the time, need money, I need money, all the time. All the fucking time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'll admit that I didn't have a career. I didn't have a good job. I was working little side jobs, little bullshit jobs that don't do nothing.
Yeah.
So, what eventually happened is she just got so pissed off that she came to me and said, "You're never going to see your kids again unless you get a job, or you'll never see them again." And that's what she said. She said, "You'll never see your son again unless you get a job."
Yeah.
And the next day... And this is crazy, and I know a lot of people out there, I don't know how far you've gone to make someone happy in your life, but the very next day I got up, and I went to school. And as I was going through school, she was still giving me crap. I mean, I took out one of the biggest loans in my life that I didn't even know if I could pay back just to get a career started. I did. I believe it or not, I graduated. I paid for the entire school myself, literally.
Nice.
It took me about 7 years on the loan, but I did it myself.
Yeah.
I got through school, and I've been at my job now, doing my kind of work now in my career, which I don't really want to talk about because I don't really particularly like it, but I've been there for 12 years.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I'm living on my own now. I have my own car. I have all my own stuff. I deal with women, but I deal with women at my discretion. At my discretion, because I don't want to be controlled again. I don't want to go through drama city, and in the process of all that, I still lost my kids. Like, you know, I was giving her $700 to $800 a week cash.
Yeah.
And this is one of the biggest warning signs came when the landlord came to the door and tried fighting her cousin's husband.
Oh, no.
Because they were supposed to pay the rent on the place and everything, because her cousin and her cousin's husband were living there, and they were supposed to pay the rent. Well, he lost his job, which I found out later why he lost his job, but I didn't know that. You know, I thought I knew the guy, but I really didn't.
Yeah.
One morning, the landlord showed up, and her cousin's husband answered the door, and I was sitting there with the kids, you know, having a good day. But we'd been fighting the whole time in between this craziness, you know, and I've been giving her money every week like clockwork. And her cousin's husband answered the door, turned into a fight, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I walked outside. I had to hurry up and jump into this fight to break up this fight between them two, because this guy was going to kill her cousin's husband.
Damn.
It was an eye-opening experience, because he was kind of wondering why he hadn't been paid in 6 months. And at $800 a week, so something's wrong.
Yeah, something's very
wrong. And after the whole fight got settled, like, I figured out what was going on. This guy was screaming in my face. And after I got the whole thing figured out, you know, I went inside and talked to her cousin's husband, and I said, look, man, you know, I know that you're not working. I get it. Okay, I get you're not working. I know you don't have money, all right? But I'm the one paying for everything here, paying for you to live here, paying for your kids, paying for my kids and my girlfriend and the whole 9 yards. What the hell is going on? And he started shaking in front of me and groveling. Mm-hmm. He was literally groveling in front of me, and he's like, I give it all to my wife. And I said, okay, man, because I didn't think that he would lie to me like that. I did not think that this man would lie to me.
Yeah.
And then when I went to his wife and asked her, and I said, what's going on with the money? She says, oh, well, I don't know what it takes to run a house. I'm like,
are you kidding me?
Okay, I don't know what it takes to run a house. And then I asked her again. I said, that's bullshit. That's what the hell's going on? And then she goes, oh, well, the landlord, he just, he didn't keep track of his records. The landlord didn't keep track of his records. And that was the whole thing and the whole reason. And then I started getting into it. And then my girlfriend gets into it with me because I'm asking questions about what happened to $700, $800.
Hell yeah.
Okay? I'm asking questions, and I'm the jerk. I'm the asshole.
Yeah, they're turning you into the
I'm
asshole.
the asshole. Every one of them, all three of them, not working. My girlfriend never worked. She hadn't had a job since 2005. Okay? Mm-hmm. My son was born in 2006. She hasn't had a job since 2005. Her cousin that was living there, she never worked. Her cousin's husband, he worked, and he got fired. And I didn't even know why he got fired, but I found out later, and that's a thing that I tell you about. You know, you can learn to do your own investigative work, and I did, because it really was an eye-opener, and it's good to have people in high places because you can find some things out that you never knew. And I found out a lot of things. I found out that her cousin's husband was operating a commercial motor vehicle while under the influence of a controlled substance in June 2009. Mm-hmm. And I found that out from law enforcement.
Damn.
So, I know that I didn't tell him to take drugs behind the wheel of a tractor trailer. Yeah. And I know I didn't sell him any dope.
True.
And I mean, if they were spending it on dope, like I believe now from all the evidence that people have told me that my ex was doing, that her whole family was doing, that her cousin was doing, that her cousin's husband was apparently doing, because it's there, it's real. I was able to read the report with my own eyes.
Yeah. A
federal report. I was able to read it.
That's eye-opening.
And I just couldn't believe it. And I'm like, man, you know, what the hell happened? All I did was work and come home.
Yeah, you did what a man's supposed to do.
And the whole
get shitted on.
And you know, she used to sit there and tell me to live in the shed in the backyard. You know, we'll have a house and I can live in the shed. And I'm like, wow, I'm really paying for everybody and I get to live in a shed? You hate me that much? Well, apparently she did.
She treated you like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
You know, after that fight that night, you know, it was, oh God, what was it? It must have been about March 3rd, 2010. And I had been at work. I got a call at work from her, and you know, the day before, you know, we'd been fighting on and off every day, yelling, screaming at each other. Nothing physical. I got a call at work, and in front of my boss, I was a supervisor for a corporation in St. Louis, and it was a pretty good job. You know, it was a really good job.
Yeah,
it was a really good job. I was making good money. Could take care of everything, you know.
Yeah.
But they couldn't pay the landlord, and she couldn't pay the landlord. I don't know how that all worked out. I got a call at work, and the day before, everything was fine. Everything was fine the day before at work. Everything was literally fine. We'd had a good day. We took the kids to a farm, a petting zoo. You know, everything was fine, man.
Yeah.
Everything was fine. I was at work. It was about 8 o'clock at night, and the work phone rang. And I picked it up, and it was her, and I said, hey, love, how's it going? And she got on the phone, and she's like, don't you tell me, hey, love. I want you to get your shit out of here. I'm done with your ass. I never want to see your ass again. I didn't just hear it. My boss heard it.
Oh, no.
The other supervisor heard it. Like, everybody heard it. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? So my boss, Terry, he called in Dawn. He was the midnight supervisor. Because this place ran 24/7.
Yeah.
Called him in, told him to come in early. He said, get home, get figured out what's going on. I said, you know, I think I'm going to jail. You know, I'm going to jail or something. You know, that's what's going to happen. As I go home, I'm going to go to jail. Like she's on a crazy warpath. So my boss knew what was happening, and the other supervisor knew what was happening. So I drove home. I got in the door. She was there with her cousin and her aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And they were sitting there at the table. And I came in and I said, "What's this all about?" And she started screaming off the hook like a maniac, like something was wrong with her.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then I know that when I say this, I don't know if anybody's going to believe me out there. I don't know if you're going to believe me, but this happened. And I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to lie for anybody, but she started hitting herself in the face. In front of her aunt and her cousin. She just started going, bow, 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 in the face. Damn. And then she looked at her aunt, and then she said, "Well, is it my face red enough?" And I'm like, bow, bow, bow. And then she called 911 and said, "I'm beating her ass."
That shit is crazy.
Now, her face wasn't red enough, and she didn't have any visible marks on her. So the police, they were there in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Police got there, and they said, "You got to get outside now. Get outside." And I got outside, and they put me in the back of the car. And they said, "Look, if you stay here, then all her aunt and her cousin and her are all going to press charges on me that I was beating her ass."
Yeah.
And I said, "Sir, I was at work. I just came home, and all this happened." And he's like, "Well, we don't know what to believe, but you're not allowed around here right now, so we're just gonna take you in right now." So I was like, "Man, I'm in the back seat with handcuffs.
Oh,
I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know what's going on." I said, "Officer, please, just call my boss up right now and ask him where I was."
Yeah.
Ask him where I was. And he called up my boss. And my boss got an attitude with the officer. He said, "I don't pay him to sit at home. That woman called here crazy, like a lunatic." Called here crazy like a lunatic. The officer looked at me. The officer laughed. And he said, "Oh, well, I tell you what." The officer said, "I'm not allowed to come around here for at least 3 weeks."
Yeah.
And so he took me to a town which had like this train station called a Metrolink. I don't know anybody from Illinois know what the Metrolink is. That's what I took. And it was like a Walmart and a Metrolink. And he dropped me off there and he said, "There's a Walmart there. There's the Metrolink there."
Yeah.
I had no phone. I had no money. I had nothing.
Cold-blooded.
And that was it. I had no place to stay. I was out there on the streets. It was terrible. I had to borrow money to get enough money to get all the way home.
Yeah.
And then I had to pay it all back. And thank God I knew enough people out home that were able to help me out.
Yeah.
But I had no place to live. I had nothing. Like literally nothing. When I got back in town, I was so happy, but sad in the same time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have nothing,
Yeah.
It took me months before I started working again, and then just continuing to get up there. But I mean, she didn't want me home. She didn't want me back. She didn't want nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what caused her to start hitting herself. I don't know what happened. I mean, we fought all the time, but it was always about money.
Yeah.
And my mom would get involved with it, unfortunately. And my mom even said there was weird stuff going on. And she was like, one of the things my mom said is, why can't she prove a receipt for where all this money is going?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, to be honest with you, how much she borrowed was ridiculous.
Yeah, I gave my baby mama lots of money. I gave her $1,000 one time to pay the daycare, and she never paid it, and I ended up having to pay it later on. Yeah. She spent it on drugs and alcohol.
February 16th, 2010, I had found out that between my mom and I had given my ex over $10,000 in cash. I know that the money disappeared very quickly because I got over there on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And she had asked me, she needed $500 after she received $10,000 in cash.
Damn.
And I asked, my mouth just hit the floor. This is another one of the fights about money. And I said, "What do you need? What do you need this for?"
Yeah.
Like, what I gave you. It was the tax returns. It was my income for that month. And then whatever else my mom supplemented.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, well, I needed to turn on the electric." And I'm like, on this new place or whatever. And I'm like, because at the time she wanted to move from the place that we were at to another place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was going to live in the shed shit was going.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to tell her. I'm like, I just gave you everything I had.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? When I got back in town, I started doing my investigative work, and her and people she knew, and a lot of the people she knew, and I never knew this. And but I had a feeling, though, you know, and I was stupid. I was stupid because some of the people that she was hanging around weren't too savory of people.
Well, I mean, when you love someone or when you're in a relationship with one and have kids with somebody, you don't think that way about them.
I didn't think that way.
Too late.
I just knew that some of her friends were a little weird. They were pretty weird, man. They cops, when you ask the cops and talk to the police about people, they go, "What are you doing hanging around that person? That person does this, that, and this." And I'm like, I don't even know the person. I don't even know what they look like. Okay? I just was told to ask you, and you would know, and this is what comes back. You come back at me like I'm hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Since 2009, 2 of her friends are already OD'd.
Damn.
They found the one in his apartment, or in an apartment in the top of the town, and the other one died in a town over, OD'd on heroin. And from my understanding is, and this is a terrible thing to say, but from what people have told me, including law enforcement and people that have known her, she is an actor, and she is a constant narcotic user. And I was with her for 5 years. And like I said, after 6 months and she was pregnant, I never seen her use drugs once. No. I don't care what anybody says. I never saw this woman use drugs. I have no idea.
Yeah.
These people on the street, the people on the streets have told me that she did. They told me she was an actor.
Yeah.
And then I've seen some stuff, man, but I don't know what to say. I just had to say it out there. This is crazy. I never knew this about someone. My only advice to anybody listening out there is be vigilant, be wary of everybody, every woman you run into. And I hate to say it because it sounds like I'm a woman-hating guy. I kind of am. I kind of am a woman-hating guy right now. I kind of am. I kind of fucking am.
The mythical Nawalt.
I kind of am. Like this. When I found MGTOW, and found out what it's about, I was like, God damn, I'm not the only one out there dealing with this.
Right.
Like, am I crazy?
Yeah,
am I crazy? I'm not the only one dealing with this.
Angry and crazy, and
that's how kind of, you know, in the process of me coming back to myself and working and coming back to myself is where I found Papa MGTOW here on my couch. I actually found him on my couch years ago, and you know, it's weird to find somebody on your couch you don't know who they are, but after I found out who he was, I realized that he's a real guy, a real dude, and he's really cool. You know,
real problems,
with real problems,
baby mama drama.
And I couldn't believe, you know, and that's like that's how it happened, man. But I mean, I know there's more, but that's I guess that's for a different day. I'll talk about it, but that's the gist
for another episode, brother.
That's for the gist of where I'm coming from with this craziness.
I hear that.
But Papa MGTOW, I don't know. We better get back to how do you deal with not seeing your kids?
Yeah, how do I deal with not seeing my kids? Basically, I call the baby mama and text her every day and try and deal with her drama and her excuses as to why she can't talk to me that day. And then I wait for Valentine's Day and rent a billboard to wish my daughter Happy Valentine's Day.
You gotta tell them about this. You gotta tell them about this man here. This is why I love Papa MGTOW. He's gotta tell you this insane, geniusly crazy idea that he's come up with. You've got to tell them, because this is something I think other fathers out here would love to hear. Go ahead and tell them what you're doing.
I hadn't been able to talk to my daughter for a while, so I thought about, okay, Valentine's Day is coming up. Her mother won't let me send her flowers, so I'll just rent a billboard and wish my daughter Happy Valentine's Day and put my phone number on there so my daughter can call me. So
where's the billboard? His giant billboard is going up.
2 giant billboards down the street right by her high school, the high school that my daughter goes to.
Oh my God.
So hopefully someone will see it. Hopefully she'll see it, or her friends will see it, and she'll give me a call, and I'll be able to reconnect with her, you know. Till then, I'm still talking to the baby mama and dealing with that fucking bullshit.
Oh, but you rented out a giant ass billboard with her picture, her name, Love Dad.
Yep.
Your phone number in front of her school.
Yep.
I can't wait for when you see that, man. You know, that is beautiful. I never even thought of anything like that. He called me up about a week ago. I think, what was a week ago, right?
I think so, yeah.
About a week
I've been
ago.
dealing with him for a little while.
And I noticed that he hadn't been himself lately. And and this was the whole thing that's got him down.
Been down in the dumps.
And then he called me up and said he had this great idea. And he told me it. And I said, that's genius. So this little girl is going to see that her father loves her. And she's going to see it. There's no way. It's in her town. It's right by her school, right? Mm-hmm. Right by her school.
2 billboards.
Big as hell. Like half the size of a house. With her picture, name, Happy Father's Day. No, I'm sorry, Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Love Dad with her picture on it and your number on it to call you.
Hell yeah.
And that's just beautiful. Anybody else out there wants to do something like that? What would you tell people if they want to do something like that?
Valentine's Day is the best time to do it because they have specials at most advertising places. They have specials during Valentine's Day. And so I would probably do it during that time or maybe a birthday or something, but just let them know, the advertising agency, that you're doing it for your child, and they will definitely help you out and cut you a deal because they did me.
That's great.
Gay!